4:30. At this time, we will call the June 7th, 2021 meeting to order, and we'll start with our Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll have a moment of silence after that, and I'll kind of explain that right after the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll go into our invocation by Pastor Chris Goodman.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we're going to go into a moment of silence as we've lost one of our previous city councilmen, Barry McGaw. Barry was a huge community advocate and partner, even when he was no longer a city councilman. He's done a lot of things for this community that we will never be able to thank him enough for. And then also, we have also lost a previous mayor, Charlotte Baldwin, and I ask that you remember both families in your thoughts and prayers. And at this time, we'll have a moment of silence, followed by the invocation by Barry McGaw's pastor, Chris Goodman.
In prayer. Heavenly Father, we are grateful, Lord, for the contribution of these public servants, their willingness to serve. Lord, for those who've passed, we lift up their families. Lord, for Mayor Baldwin, for Mr. McGaw, we're just thankful for their contribution and their blessing to this community. Lord, we thank you for these who are willing to serve and govern now. We thank you for your wisdom, your direction. Pray your guidance. God, thank you for wise decisions that bring provision and protection to our community. We thank you for your goodness, your mercy, your grace. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. And if anybody knows Barry or knew Barry, you would know that he would be complaining and fussing right now that we did anything to recognize him. But we are going to do that in honor of him and the fact that I can have the last word with Barry. Kim, can we have a roll call?
Yes, sir. Misty Cavanaugh. Here. Tony Space. Adam Townsend.
Here.
Amy Cruz.
Present.
Frank Stevenson.
Here.
Chad Minzer.
Here.
Mayor, we do have a quorum.
All right, our first order of business will be the approval of minutes for the City Council regular meeting on May 17th, 2021.
The regular meeting of the Madisonville City Council was held on May the 17th, 2021 at 4:30 p.m. in the City Council chambers. It was called to order by Mayor Kevin Cotton. We had the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Police Chief Steve Bryan. The roll call, the mayor and all City Council members were present except for Chad Minzer, who was absent at that time. Approval of the minutes of May the 3rd, 2021 were approved. We had approval of the minutes of the special called meeting on May 5th, 2021, which was also approved. We had a approval of bills and payroll, department reports, new business. We had the presentation of the proposed budget with the mayor's budget message to the legislative body. We had a first reading of an ordinance adopting the City of Madisonville annual budget for the fiscal year July the 1st, 2021 through June the 30th, 2022. Resolutions, we accepted a bid for a generator and a transfer switch. We accepted a bid for pipe bursting equipment. We had a motion to accept bid for pipe bursting to Rhodey Incorporated, and also accept a bid for communication equipment to 502 Equipment, and accept bid for a fusion machine to GNC. We had permission to close portion of Logan Street. We had a reappointment of Morris Yates to the zoning adjustment. We appointed the new city administrative officer, Mr. Rob Saint. Executive order relating to the delegation of power and authority to the city administrative officer, and adjournment.
All right, are there any corrections to the minutes? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next order of business is the approval of bills and payroll.
We have the total general fund of $278,314.25, total sanitation of $89,959.37, total electric utility office of $76,016.17, total water filter of $99,749.17, wastewater collection and treatment, the total for that was $41,358.09. We have an estimated biweekly payroll governmental of $44,089, police $143,494, fire $142,177, transportation of $33,413, cemetery $6,547, parks $17,914, sanitation $37,313, light fund $81,514, wastewater treatment of $17,750, wastewater collection of $31,020, water and filter of $46,052, for a total estimated biweekly payroll of $601,283.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the bills and payroll?
So move.
A second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have the second reading of our ordinance adopting the City of Madisonville, Kentucky annual budget for the fiscal year July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022, by estimating revenues and resources, appropriating funds for the operation of city government.
Be it ordained by the City of Madisonville, Kentucky as follows: whereas an annual budget proposal and message has been prepared and delivered to the City Council, and whereas the City Council has reviewed such budget proposal and made necessary modifications, now therefore be it ordained by the City of Madisonville, Section 1, the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July the 1st, 2021 and ending June the 30th, 2022 is hereby adopted as follows. See Exhibit A attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference. This ordinance will be in effect on July the 1st, 2021, and the Exhibit A is attached.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the budget ordinance?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Kim, can we have a roll call?
Yes, sir. Misty Cavanaugh,
Yes.
Adam Townsend,
Yes.
Amy Cruz,
Yes.
Frank Stevenson,
Yes.
Chad Menzer.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Next, we have the first reading of an ordinance authorizing the acceptance of a public street, alley, or lane, and authorizing the closing of same.
Be it ordained by the City of Madisonville, Kentucky as follows: whereas the following described street, alley, or lane has been dedicated as a public street, alley, or lane by specific reference thereto by deeds of record in the Hopkins County Court Clerk's Office. And whereas the City of Madisonville desires to accept the dedication of said street, alley, or lane so that may be legally closed as herein provided. And whereas all property owners who abut the public street, alley, or lane have consented in writing to the proposed closing of the street, alley, or lane, now therefore be it ordained by the City of Madisonville, Kentucky, that dedication of the following described street, alley, or lane is hereby accepted by the City of Madisonville, and the following findings of fact are made with reference thereto. The particular street, alley, or lane to be closed is a 30-foot right-of-way identified as Hickman Lane, as the same appears on the plat of record in Cabinet 2, Slide 1, Hopkins County Court Clerk's Office, extending from Brown Road to the railroad, which is highlighted in yellow on the attached plat. All property owners in or abutting the street, alley, or lane to be closed are as follows. A, ST Development LLC, by virtue of deed of conveyance executed by MSM Properties LLC and a record in deed book 760, page 694, Hopkins County Court Clerk's Office, and by virtue of deed of conveyance executed by Dean Sheets Properties LLC and a record in deed book 760, page 697, Hopkins County Court Clerk's Office. B, David Garrigan and his wife Mary Garrigan and Jerry Rickard and his wife Vandana Rickard, by virtue of a deed of conveyance executed by L. Rush Hunt, Master Commissioner, of record in deed book 760, page 671 of the Hopkins County Court Clerk's Office. C, Jackie Ray French and his wife Sandra French, by virtue of a deed of conveyance executed by Madisonville Hopkins County Economic Development Corporation and of record in deed book 621, page 57 of the Hopkins County Court Clerk's Office, and by virtue of a deed of conveyance executed by Gary Payton and of record in deed book 771, page 313 of the Hopkins County Court Clerk's Office. Written notice of the proposed closings were given to all property owners in or abutting the public street, alley, or lane being closed, and all property owners in or abutting the public street, alley, or lane being closed have given their written notarized consent to the closing, and copies of the written consents are attached hereto. Accordingly, based upon the findings of fact herein, and it is hereby ordered and ordained that the public street, alley, or lane described herein is hereby closed, effective upon publication of this ordinance. A copy of this ordinance shall be filed of record in the Hopkins County Clerk's Office as required by KRS 82.405 subsection 2.
Kim, can you tell me the deed book one more time?
Which one?
There will be no motion since this is the first reading. Are there any questions pertaining to this? Okay. Next, we will move on to resolutions. The first resolution that we have is, and the only, is a resolution to declare computers as surplus.
Whereas the City of Madisonville IT Department has 12 computers to be declared surplus, and whereas the City of Madisonville requests to dispose of the 12 computers by means appropriate according to KRS 82.083, now therefore be it resolved as follows: the 12 computers are now declared as surplus property. The city is authorized to dispose of the computers by means according to KRS 82.083.
Do I have a motion to approve the surplus of the computers?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have municipal orders, appointment of Jerry Curtis to the tree board.
It shall be and hereby is ordered by the City Council of the City of Madisonville as follows: that Jerry Curtis shall and is appointed to the tree board. The term of Jerry Curtis shall be for 3 years, ending June the 1st, 2024, and that Jerry Curtis shall serve in accordance with the laws of the United States of America and the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the ordinances of the City of Madisonville.
Do I have a motion to approve the appointment of Jerry Curtis to the tree board?
So move.
Second.
A motion and a second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have the appointment of Gail Vogel to the tree board.
It shall and hereby is ordered by the City Council of the City of Madisonville, Kentucky as follows: that Gail Vogel shall be and hereby appointed to the tree board. The term of Gail Vogel shall be for 3 years, ending June the 1st, 2024, and that Gail Vogel shall serve in accordance with the laws of the United States of America and the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the ordinances of the City of Madisonville.
All right, do I have a motion to approve Gail Vogel to the tree board?
Moved.
A motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. All right, next we have a proclamation, and we have in the room with us today Tim Thomas with Crime Stoppers. We have a joint proclamation for Crime Stoppers. Whereas Crime Stoppers of Hopkins County has served our community for over 20 years, and whereas the goal of Crime Stoppers of Hopkins County is to help in the prevention of crime and to assist in the apprehension of criminals, and whereas Crime Stoppers has organized the Not in My School program in the middle and high schools, and has established a neighborhood watch program with active neighborhood watch groups in the city. And whereas Crime Stoppers has received over 3,000 calls since its inception in 1989, and the anonymous tip line has led to arrests and major drug crimes and robberies throughout Hopkins County. And whereas Crime Stoppers of Hopkins County is recognized by Kentucky State Homeland Security, and now therefore be it resolved that we, Kevin Cotton, Mayor of the City of Madisonville, and Jack Whitfield, Hopkins County Judge Executive, do hereby proclaim the month of June 2021 as Hopkins County Crime Stoppers Month in the City of Madisonville and Hopkins County, Kentucky, and to urge all citizens to consider contributing their resources to improving our city through community service and volunteerism, presented on the 7th day of June 2021 in Madisonville, Kentucky. And Chief and Tim, if you all want to meet right here in the middle, we'll do a photo. And Jennifer, do you mind?
Still, I can't get out of it. I hate it when I can't get out of it because there's a wall here and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna smile.
Take a moment just to thank City Council for your support down through the years for Crime Stoppers program. I want to thank the chief, who has been an integral part in helping us push Crime Stoppers forward, because so many times people don't understand that although Crime Stoppers is the eyes and ears of law enforcement, it carries a lot of weight here in this community as known by the major bust that was taking place down in Dawson Springs. Some of the things we're continuing to try to do, and that is our neighborhood watch programs as well as our Not in My School program. So we're moving forward with that. We're on the means to try to have 15 neighborhood watch programs this year. I think we have about 5 or 6, so we hope to have at least 15 by the end of the year. So it's a large task, but I think it can happen, Chief, with the help of everyone that lives within our community. Thank you again.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Tim. We appreciate all the hard work that you put into that as well, and all the volunteers that are helping you on your board. All right, next we have a special guest with us, Ms. Hillary Croft with the Hopkins County Attorney's Office, and she has some exciting news to bring to us tonight.
As Mayor Cotton said, my name's Hillary Croft. I am a former land trip, so if you know the land trip name, then you know the family. So
Don't pick a fight, right?
that's right. That's right. I'm here. I started as the child support director in October of last year, and we've been doing a lot of community outreach. And one of the big things that we've done is we've joined the Hopkins County Job Expo Committee. And I don't know if you're on Facebook, but if you are and you're friends with me or Melanie Tapp, you've seen everything you could possibly see about a job expo coming up tomorrow. So I wanted to come and talk to you a little bit about what we're doing tomorrow. We're hosting this job expo at the Ballard Center from 10 to 2, and we're very appreciative that the city has actually signed up as one of our employers. And we have 50 employers who have registered for our job expo. That's the max. That's how many we had enough room for, and we have maxed out on that. So we've got the employers. Now we're looking for the employees to take those positions. As of our employer registration, it looks like we're going to have about 1,200 available jobs, and these jobs are available through Hopkins County and surrounding areas. We're in desperate need for employees. As you all know, you've probably heard from your constituents that people are hiring everywhere. Some restaurants can't even open full capacity because they don't have enough employees to handle it. We've got several factories that are doing increased starting wages, big benefits and incentives for those that start with them. We've got on-the-spot interviews and job offers that will happen tomorrow. So we encourage everyone in Hopkins County to come. If you're looking for employment or a career change, it's going to be the place for you. So if you know of anyone that needs a job, send them our way. We will appreciate it. And we're hoping for a good turnout for tomorrow. So we just wanted to share that news with you all. So does anybody have any questions for me?
One more time, Hillary, will you give the times so those that are
Yes.
watching us online can have the times and the location one more time, please?
Yes, it's going to be tomorrow, June 8th at the Ballard Convention Center from 10 to 2. So we'll have employers setting up most of the morning, and we'll be there until the last person leaves. So if anybody has any other questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any other questions for Ms. Croft?
Thank you all. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for your time. And thank you for all the hard work that has went into the Job Expo. I know that that's been a big deal. So, all right, next we have Eric Logan that would like to address the City Council. Eric, if you'll just step up to the podium.
Hello, how are you doing today? I am Eric Logan with Light of Chance, and I just wanted to address the City Council. I wanted to, there has been a little bit of confusion with our annual Dust Bowl basketball tournament, and we are, the Dust Bowl, for those that don't know, the Dust Bowl, it has been around for 38 years. It is a, for the community, it's a really big deal. It's really big not only to the community, but the culture. And we have, since taking over the Dust Bowl, Light of Chance from day one has used it as a platform to do some other things in the community, as far as free school supplies to all the area kids, free back-to-school haircuts, voter registration, health fair. And we have done it since taking over in 2009. We have always done it the first weekend in August. And so I'm looking for you all's help as a council to kind of explain the situation, what's going on, so we could get things straight. And I see Mr. Stevenson's face; he's a little confused what's going on. But I just wanted to kind of explain the situation, what's going on, and see about us getting our date resolved. That's pretty much the big deal of it. In the Dust Bowl, the proceeds from the Dust Bowl is used to support our local Breathe Youth Arts program here that's located at 18 North Main Street. And so with the Breathe program, we are able to provide at no cost yoga, dance, music, creative writing, and visual art classes, as well as provide individual, group, family counseling, parenting classes, and educational groups. And just in 2020 alone, we served 195 kids and 186 families, and rendered more than $1.7 million of free services. And so the Dust Bowl goes to help support that. And the Dust Bowl has grown we've grown the Dust Bowl from just hundreds of people coming to thousands of people, from Chicago all the way down to Houston, Texas. So it's a weekend. It's a weekend of a family. It's a weekend of tradition. And so it's really important that people really set their clocks by it. So they set vacations, it brings in tourism. Just the players alone bring in over $80,000 to the community during that weekend. So it's a pretty big deal. And so I'm just looking for you all support. And so here's kind of what has, I guess I got a few notes here that's transpired. So we normally reserve the date for the Dust Bowl sometimes more than a year in advance. I would probably say at the very least 10 months in advance. So pretty much when event's in and we submit in an application like we normally do, the same process. We submit it to the parks superintendent, in which we did. And so just a brief timeline, taking it back to 2019, because that was the last time we were able to have it, because which I'll get to 2020 and that sort of thing. So in April of 2019, April of 2019, April of 2019, we submitted a date. We had to revise our date for 2019, and we resubmitted that date in April of 2019. And right after that, the confusion is another group that has come in. The event is called the Summer Sizzler, which conflicts with that. And basically, there's been a duplication of services, other than they work with kids and we have a men's basketball tournament. And so so in May of 2019, they announced their date. And so they actually moved into our date that we had actually traditionally moved out of, and they moved into that 2019 date. And then in in May, we submitted our date for 2020 for July 31st to August the 2nd for 2020. And after our Dust Bowl, we found out that we had to choose another date. So we were informed by the park superintendent that we could not have our 2020 date, and that it was going to the Summer Sizzler group, even though we had previously submitted our date. And so we complied. So we chose, and the reason giving is that they said that we hadn't had our event yet, so therefore they had first choice. And they chose our 2020 date, in which was July 31st through August 2nd. But they also chose to do an entire week for 2020, which was July 27th through August the 2nd. So they chose to do the whole week. So now they're choosing to do the last week in July. And so we chose for 2020, because we had to choose another date, August 7th through the 9th. We chose that date. We got approved for that date. And I had communication prior to our 2020 date last summer. Of course, COVID was going on. Just kind of we were considering maybe not having it, or doing it not at full capacity, because again, we have thousands of people and we want to be really responsible with what's going on in the community, in the country. And so we decided we were going to try to do the date for August 7th through the 9th. But of course we weren't allowed to because of regulations, so no problem. But so soon after we chose, let me back up just a little bit, but in 2019, August of 2019, not only did we choose our date for 2020, but we also submitted dates for 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025. And so, yes. So following up with that, so of course we couldn't have it to do anything with it in COVID because of COVID. So I followed up with the park superintendent in June of 2020. And then I was telling him again that we were planning not having it, but I also attached again in the email the 2021 date, because that is the corresponding date. August 6th through the 8th is the corresponding date for 2021. So because we had it August 7th through the 9th in 2020, and the corresponding date for 2021 is August 6th through the 8th. Didn't get a response back. The reply to that was that that wasn't our corresponding weekend, and that the other group had first dibs on that weekend. And I informed the park superintendent, in this case, Mr. Jeff Duval, that was not correct. That was not the corresponding week. Since they chose in 2020, July 27th through August the 2nd, their corresponding date starts July 26th through August the 1st. And so emails exchanged back and forth, saying, trying to say that wasn't correct. I tried to correct him and let him know that was correct. And then I did not pick up communication again until this past March. Picked it up again about our 2021 date in particular, a corresponding date. Again, it was told to me that the corresponding date for me was not that date. In actuality, in doing all the years of doing the Dust Bowl, saying our corresponding date would be August 13th through the 15th. And I assure you, we have never, ever, in the existence of me doing this Dust Bowl in 2009, we have never done it August 13th through the 15th. We have never done it that late. So what I am trying to do, and trying to talk to the leaders of this community, because again, the Dust Bowl means so much. And so I'm just looking to you all to resolve this issue so we can continue to move forward with our event that means so much to the community and our kids and so on and so forth. And I'm here to answer any questions that you all may have that I could, even if I need to shed some light on some things.
Anybody have any questions for Eric?
So right now, you're penciled in for the August 13th weekend, correct?
We have not submitted any application for 2021, because again, we submitted it 2 years ago. We reminded again in June of 2020, and then again in March of 2021. So we followed the process and the protocol that we have always followed. And so there's nothing against the other event. They just simply have the entire summer to do their event. And our event is been around for 38 years, has not only an emotional but also an economic impact to the community. And again, that's what it's a local holiday. We have the biggest Dust Bowl in the southeast of the country. And so that's just something I hope that we can continue to nourish and grow. So
Any other questions for Mr. Logan?
Their original change in date on there, I think you said something about you had submitted paperwork and then the date had changed. Was there a reason why I know originally I think maybe we had a concert series that weekend or something. Was that the reason for the date change, or?
that was part of it. So we through tourism funds, we were able to then provide a free concert, just like the other free concerts in town. And so we had it at Festus Park that provided a concert that brought international multi-platinum Grammy-nominated artists to the community. And so, yes, so that concert series, part of it was in a conflict of the Dust Bowl. And so we rescheduled our date for that year. Yeah.
It was 2018, correct?
The concert series got announced in February of 2019.
Yeah, so your concert was in 2018, but you did not have a concert scheduled from tourism funds for 2019. So just for clarification, that's when the change was, and you felt that it was in conflict of your event. Is that correct?
2019. Well, usually how we do the concert, like we were able to do concerts, I believe 2017. We did one in 2018. But in our application that we always submit, we started ever since we were the funds and able to have the concert. We always included in our application that we were having that concert. We just hadn't gone before tourism at that point to ask for tourism funds, but we put in our application that we were having a concert.
So the change in dates was for 2018, not anything for technically 2020 since COVID happened, but for 2021.
So the change of dates. So I changed the date in 2019 from July 30. No, hold on. I have to look at the date. But anyway, I changed it from that date to the following weekend. And I changed that date.
First full weekend of August to the second full weekend of August, correct? For 2019?
2019, let me look at my calendar.
We were scheduled for the first full week of August, but you changed it to the second full week of August, for full weekend of August.
I changed
Jeff
it
Duval, is that correct?
I changed it from August 9th to the 11th. So Friday, we have it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, our event.
Which is the first, or that would have been the second full weekend in August, correct?
2019.
Yes.
That was the second weekend. That was the first full week in August, actually. I'm looking at 2019, and 2019 date, the Sunday was August 4th. So it was the first. The first in 2019 was on a Thursday, August the 1st.
Correct, but that was your original dates that you had selected.
In 2019, the original date that I selected was
changed it to the second weekend.
And then I changed it to the second weekend.
Correct, which is why the Summer Sizzler picked up the first full weekend in August. And then you had the second full weekend in August, which is both are annual events. One is aimed at high school students in an effort to be able to get those students into that tournament before school starts. And then with you taking the second weekend, that is an men's adult-only tournament, which is, in fact, was the second weekend of August.
The 2019. That was the second weekend. Now the difference is whenever we chose the date prior to our Dust Bowl, we chose the 2020 date of July 31st through August the 2nd. And again, the reasoning is that they got the choice because we hadn't had ours yet. And so our date that we originally submitted, but for both of our events in 2019 for 2020, was then later rejected. And they chose an entire week to do theirs in 2020. So they moved off of technically their date because they chose July 27th through August the 2nd. So if we're doing corresponding weekends,
I think the weekend of July the 30th is still available if you want to do it the weekend of July 30th, 31st, 1st, and 2nd. Is that correct, Mr. Duval? Is it booked as well? It's available. So if you want the same corresponding that you did prior that was in that first weekend, then you're more than welcome for that one. But the first full weekend in August is booked to the Summer Sizzler as an annual event as well.
that's the thing. I submitted my information and my paperwork prior to. So if I always choose a date and they always get to choose my date, then where's the fair in that?
The reality to that is it's the first full weekend in August is what they've chosen, and you've chosen because of your choice to move yours to the second full weekend in August because you didn't want it to interfere with our concert series. So that's why Mr. Duval made those decisions for those annual events. So does anybody have any other questions for Mr. Logan?
But here's the thing: if they are doing corresponding dates, yearly, annually dates, because it takes a long time to plan these things on the Dust Bowl. So if they're not, their corresponding date should be July 26th. Is that not correct? If they've chosen
the first full weekend in
my corresponding date for 2020 was August 7th through the 9th. The corresponding weekend for 21 is August 6th through the 8th. See what I'm saying? So if they're choosing July, the last weekend in July in 2020, then they automatically, based on the rules that were created, they have July 26th because that's the beginning of the last week in July in which they chose in 2020. Does that make sense? And so if we have a corresponding date of August 7th and then the next year for 21 is August 6th through the 8th, that's corresponding dates.
Summer event applications that were received, and Jeff Duval has marked on both of those summer event applications when he received each one. The dates, they overlap, so I don't know.
Also,
So would the council like to hear from Park Superintendent Jeff Duval? So, Mr. Logan, if you would yield the microphone to
no problem.
Park Superintendent Jeff Duval, please.
First off, both events are great for the community. The Dust Bowl, I've refereed in it, I've played in it. I've refereed the Littleman, the Summer Sizzler. They're both great for the community, hands down. They do good stuff over there. Corresponding weekend thing is the first full weekend of August, which this year makes August 1st a Sunday. So that makes the 7th and 8th the first full weekend in August, which will be their corresponding weekend. Not the last day of July, but the first full weekend in August. It's somewhat like, any of you know about the Ely Baron, it's the first full weekend of August, which this year will be the 7th and 8th because they're not going to play it on Sunday on the 1st. So their corresponding weekend would be the first full weekend in August is what they requested, not the last week of July. So that's why it would fall back another week, only because the first falls on a Sunday. So it's really not the first full weekend in August. And they adjust it to really like it because when school starts, and that's probably the issue with the following weekend is because I don't know when school starts this year, but it could start and then people don't get out as much. So I see the conflict, but the first full weekend in August is the time lapse for that. So and it's a Sunday this year, so that bumps them to the 7th and 8th.
It looks like both entities filed a special events application. Looks like Summer Sizzler filed an application that was received by the city on December 15th, 2020, requesting dates August 5th through August 9th. Looking at who applied for a particular date first, it looks like
Yeah, that's correct. But
they're both annual events, and it got shifted when you changed because of the concert series. You didn't want a conflict concert here and concert downtown or wherever we were having it. And so that's when the first full weekend of August came in. They're both annual events, and we like to keep, if it was up to me, they would combine and have a kids and adult the same weekend, but that's never gonna happen. So we try to be loyal and keep them, the same weekend every year. And he had that weekend and he switched it, and they took it. And so we'll be loyal to them until they cancel it.
I think since he made an exception because the city had a concert, I think that we should allow them next year to have that weekend because he did that for the city.
Oh, no. Let me
not?
clear that up. He did not do that for the city. He did that because he did not want our concert series on the same night as his Dust Bowl.
Okay.
So I want to make sure
It
that
wasn't
we.
that he.
No. It was not in support of our concert series. In fact, it was not in support of our concert series. No, sir, that's what you told me. So that was in my office. But I'm not going to go into that at this point. Are there any other questions for Mr. Duval? Joe, do you have any comments that you would like to make?
No, I think if you have two people apply, first in time is first in right.
Could you repeat it one more time?
Two applications, one received on December 15th, 2020, one received on March 16th, 2021.
Okay. I have the red receipts from the email that I sent in August of 2019 for 21. And then I also have the red receipts where I submitted it again in June of 2020. And then I attached it for the third time, which is the last time, in March. But I have the red receipts and the emails to prove that. No, I attached the application in those emails, and I have a red receipt with those emails received, with their application received.
I guess the question here, Eric, is are you interested in that second weekend in August for your event, to continue your event, or are you not interested in that second weekend to put that on at Festus Claiborne? I do know that the Rosenwald has also upgraded their basketball courts as well, and those would potentially be available for the same weekend. I'm not sure, Chad, you might be able to answer that, but I think that's kind of what it boils down to for this year, if you're interested in that weekend or not. But the council doesn't necessarily make that decision, but I'd be more than happy to hear the input from the council. But are you wanting to continue with your event for the second weekend in August?
As of right now, I am interested in the event that we submitted our application for, which is August 6th through the 8th.
We appreciate you coming today, but at this time, the Summer Sizzler is scheduled for that weekend, and we're gonna move on to our next guest.
But can I?
Jeff, you did say the week before the Summer Sizzler was also available.
That is correct.
So you got two options.
I mean, I'm going by just your words. You said they said that the application that was received first. So my thing is, at what point, if I move events, if I move dates, and they want to move dates, at this point, you all are granting whatever they want to do to undercut my event.
No, sir. We're giving them the first full weekend in August, which is the same weekend that you gave up when you moved it. So at this time, we appreciate you coming,
but
we're going to yield to Scott
Okay,
Rogers,
but can I ask
who is
one
next
more
up.
question? If they move their date in 2020 to the last weekend in July, at what point is what is honored, what is right, and what is wrong? See what I'm saying? If they But listen, in 2019 they did a weekend, one weekend event.
So, Mr. Logan, we're going to move on with the city council meeting at this point because we do have other guests that would like to speak. If you want to set up an appointment to come in and talk with us, we can continue the discussion. However, at this point, your choices will be the end of July or the second full weekend in August.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I give
Mr.
y'all the
Rogers,
opportunity.
if you would like to take the podium and the microphone.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Scott Rogers. I live here in Madisonville. I've lived here 31 years as of the 26th of May, or celebrated our 31st wedding anniversary. I've got to talk with Adam Townsend and Misty, and I appreciate them, and Chad, and just talked to Frank Stevenson there right at the meeting, and then Amy Cruz talked with me. I'll just make it short and sweet. You know, the sports complex has been going on for 20 years. Okay, they had it out there on the bypass, and the tech center fell in, the Walmart fell in, and move on. Okay, now the mayor says that they're going to do it behind the Denny's and everything back in there. That's wonderful. You know, I'm all for this. I talked with Mr. Stevenson. He informed me that the cut through between Denny's, to McDonald's and all the way through, CSX has got a deal where they're closing railways or crosses and stuff, and as they cross them, then the bridge will be made feasible to cross their tracks. There's a track that's not really being used that much. I don't think it's not like the main line, I understand. And, you know, it'll go out there to come out there to Lowe's somewhere. So, you know, I found out some things here, and, you know, it's $10 million, okay? I'm the type of person, I've been married to a very lovely wife, and we discuss things, and things matter a lot. When we step aboard a plane or a ship on our cruises, I'm not bragging about that, I've earned it. I mean, we know where every dollar is, and when we step aboard the planes and stuff, everything's paid for. My question is, I pray to God that, you know, this thing comes through and it will benefit Madisonville, and I've talked to them about a water park. Eventually down the road, maybe get a water park there, a small one, and build where it can build with the land, and, you know, coincide both of them, the water park and the skating, like winter skating. I know they done the winter skating at the Friday Night Lives at the police department, and so this would maybe have it feasible where I talked to Mr. Townsend about this, and, you know, he suggested that they could do this in the wintertime, and in the summertime have, you know, the YAA fields or the leagues and everything. And I mean, it's a good thing, but I'm just a concerned citizen. You know, I like to look at things, and I'm chew on it, look at it, and I had the privilege of meeting with Mayor Kevin Cotton and Rob back there, and got to meet him, and super nice gentleman, and the other lady, and but I was just wanting to know your concept. I've talked to all of you all. Been Amy called me. I talked to Mr. Stevenson here at the meeting. Chad called me. Misty called me, and Tony Space is on his way to Florida, or is in Florida, so that's good for him. So, but I mean, I talked to him too. So, you know, what I'm saying is, I like the idea, but, you know, I'm a citizen. I'm a voter. And when somebody does something, I'd like all the dots dotted and the T's crossed and everything go good. And when that shovel hits the ground to dedicate for the sports complex, I want to make sure that down the road, 3 years from now, when everything is settled, we're going to have money coming in and it's paid for. That's my main question.
So your question is, if I'm understanding correctly, about how to pay for the sports complex?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the sports complex is going to be paid 2/3 by the county and 1/3 by the city. The city will be taking on the full operations of the facility, and any revenue that comes in from the complex will go in for those operations, and then any revenue above operational expenses will be split 1/3, 2/3 for any debt service that is incurred for that sports complex, and the additional revenue that we will receive from restaurant tax and the tourism tax for hotel tax. Those both will increase because of the volume of folks that will be coming into the sports complex. Those funds will also be allocated into the sports complex. So it is not going to be an increase in taxes. It's not going to be a new fee. It's not going to be, it is all within our budgets, both for the city and the county.
Mayor, I really appreciate you, and I want to thank Misty, Adam, Chad, Mr. Stevenson, and Amy for talking to me. I talked to Jack Whitfield, touched base with him about it, and he's for it. But, you know, like I say, you know, I went diving, and you go into the deep end of the pool, you want to make sure that you plan your dive and dive your plan. When you go underwater to somebody, you know where you're going, where you're going to come back out at, and, you know, but you dive your plan and plan your dive. So that's basically
just
what
out of curiosity, Mr. Rogers, since you were doing that planning, and you've already met with Judge Jack Whitfield, were you able to plan with him how he's going to pay for the water park?
No, sir.
I was hoping maybe he'd give you a commitment.
Well, you know, I think it would be, you know, I'm looking at the concept of the kids, sports complex and the water park.
Yes, sir.
Go small, maybe build up, and add something. You know, they got a spray park out at the off of Noel Avenue.
Yes, sir. We have one at Festus Claiborne, and then we also have one out at the city park.
Yeah. And, you know, I think that's really a good thing. But I think with you guys talking to you and Mr. Stevenson, I respect him. I mean, he's wrote articles in the paper, and I just talked to him, and he said, you know, CSX is in the process of closing crossings, and then once they close them crossings, they're going to work with the city and come forward to bring the road out to where Lowe's is, or where in that area somewhere. And, you know, that's going to be a win-win situation. It's going to relieve traffic, because I go the Parkway and go to Kroger's instead of going through town. I just hit the bypass, hit it about 75 and go and move on. But I want to thank Mayor Kevin for letting me speak, and Kim told me I could, and I appreciate it. But I met Rob, and I think he's going to be an outstanding person added to the city. And I just wanted to thank you. I like to know what's going on. I'm a concerned citizen. I like to travel, and we are traveling. And the 15th of December, we're going to Colorado.
You have a great trip, and be careful, and we appreciate you speaking tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, very much. And thank you guys, all of y'all, for listening to me. I'll say goodbye and close the meeting.
All right. So with that being said, Adam?
So move.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Thank you all very much. Mr. Logan, you're more than welcome to